This is Bear With Us podcast.
Well, can we add Gurrrl? I mean, we aren't all manly like you.
Okay. How's this? This is Bear With Us, girl.
No. More like Gurrrl, like a glitter bear.
This is Bear With Us, girl.
Perfect. This is Bear With Us, Girl, where we stir the honeypot with hot topics, body issues, the adult industry,
Fashion, news, pop culture, pup culture, and more.
From the bear perspective.
For and by the community.
I can barely stand it. Get it?
You're unbearable.
Listen to that applause.
It's a live audience today too.
It's live. It's like Snatch Game.
They fit into the studio. It's perfect.
Wonderful.
I'm so excited about our topic today, which is straight men that we can jerk off to. Why don't we just call the episode that?
Yes. I mean, or the controversial episode of calling it QueerBaiters.
Ooh, that is pretty controversial. That is controversial. What is a gay man's fantasy with straight men? Like, why do we love straight men so much?
I'm not obsessed with them, but my theory about it, though, is I think it's because when you grow up and you were bullied the most by somebody, there's now this psychological connection to wanting the approval of the person that used to bully you.
Daddy issues.
Yes,
almost.
it's very similar to daddy issues. So I think that's why gay men are obsessed with it, because it's this, that person rejected me so much growing up. If I get them to accept me now, then I matter.
Well, and I think for me, like, it's, you always like lust after like what you are not. So growing up, I was the theater kid, and it was always the sports kids that were hot, and that's why I have sports like fantasies with like nylon shorts and football jerseys and all of that. It's because I wanted to be the epitome of what was considered acceptable and manly too. And I was not that.
Yeah.
I was doing Carousel, the musical.
You didn't reach that point.
No. So very excited for our guest today, Mr. Alfie. The show is brought to you by Cybersocket.com, the ultimate resources for gay erotica. Visit Cybersocket for adult store exclusive interviews, free clips, fun contributions from our team of bloggers, event listings, and Ask Chad, porn's answer to Dear Abby. Go to Cybersocket.com.
And we're also excited to be a media partner for Bear World Magazine. Bear World Magazine is now 9 years old and the only lifestyle magazine celebrating the global bear community in all its glorious, diverse beauty. Head to bearworldmag.com to check out the great berry content and also sign up for the Wolf Report, their new weekly newsletter packed with berry news and gossip.
Okay, on that note, let's dive into it. Do you want to introduce our guest for
Yes,
today?
we have our guest. He is a friend of mine, a coworker now. We film together. And
Coworker. That's an office I want to work at.
And somebody that forgot to send me his bio, Alfie.
Link in bio, baby.
Yeah.
Link in bio. Oh my Lord, look at that goodness. And I have to say, sometimes when you see an influencer or somebody that you are a fan of on OnlyFans or whatnot, you meet them in person, it's like, that's not really matching up with my fantasy, whatever. But meeting Alfie in person, it's like even more. Boop, boop. I need to renew my subscription.
Yeah, I knew you'd be a fan.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to need a fan because I'm sweating over here.
I'm just happy to be here.
Now, Alfie, what is your background? Where do you come from?
Okay, so I'm coming from Eastern Europe, specifically from Hungary. We do have a border with Ukraine. Not a good place to be right now.
Definitely.
Anyways, it was never a good place to be. It sucks. If you're not white, straight, no matter who you are or what you stand for is wrong. And you're hated and you're not accepted, which, very easy to recognize this at a very young age. I was about 3 or 4 years old when I told my parents that, guys, I'm leaving to America. As soon as I have a chance, I'm out of here. Because what's on television and what's happening in real life here is just, not matching up. And I spent 19 rough, tough years in Europe, got educated. At least we have a good education system. Went to university there and become a part-time stripper in America while I was finishing university in Hungary. Thank God I had scholarship. I was good in sports, not a bad student either. Got my degree in international business and finance, and by the time I finished university, I made enough money. I bought a house for my mom. I had pretty good savings, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to start a career that I actually love. I had no business doing... Actually, my degree the last year, I was supposed to represent my country in other countries as a diplomat. But can you see me like a
Well,
diplomat?
you're still representing your country, just
I
in a
do,
different
I
way.
do.
It's more like a diplomat now.
I'm a diplomat
Yeah.
now.
Did
Exactly.
you just make that up?
I did.
Ah, God, I love it. I'm gonna steal that. But it's very funny. There's a whole porn studio called Bellamy, and it's full.
yeah.
It's very, very popular. And these beautiful boys, like it's like you guys are made in a factory or something. It's impossibly hot boys. But there's also this. It's not like a sexual identity that we have here. Like you do any type of gay stuff or gay porn, then you're gay. It's like in a box. But I know a lot of the Bellamy actors are not gay the way that we would interpret it, that they lead straight lives, and it's just for them it's a way to make income. Is that how kind of like sexuality came onto your lap? It's just like, did you really enjoy the sexuality part of being a stripper, or kind of alluding to that, or was it just about tips?
Well, let's go back roughly 12 years in time. In 2009, June 3rd, I arrived to Florida in the summer. It's really hot. Actually, there was sort of a crisis in America. Unemployment was super high. I came with my little work-study visa, and I quickly had to find a place to support myself after my first $1,000 was over. And I bumped into this lady at the gym. She was an older lady from Switzerland who introduced me to a stripper, and this stripper dude took me to 2 spots. He's like, bro, I'll be honest with you, I'll take you to 2 clubs, you decide which one you want. So we showed up in Fort Lauderdale at La Bear on a Friday night, I think. No, it was a Wednesday night, like 9 p.m. Dead empty club. There's nobody there. I walk in, there's like one stripper dude on stage and about a 60-year-old lady in the very back of the club, like a completely pitch dark club. I'm like, I just don't see how people make money here. Dollar is dollar, but there was no dollar there. And he was like, well, I have an alternative. This is where I work. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. He's like, oh, it's a little different, this club. There's a lot of dudes there. I'm like, okay, let's go. So we arrived to Boardwalk in Fort Lauderdale, the world famous Boardwalk.
Of course.
God damn. So I walk in, and at first they didn't want to let me in because I wasn't 21 yet. And I told them, like, I want to work. And they were like, oh, work? Yeah, 18 plus, you're good to go. Thank God it was audition that night, and I won, got like lots of tips on stage, lots of tips. Like $100 was like holy shit for me at the time. And I also won $100 for winning the competition. It was $50 bar tab and $50 cash.
That's so cute.
I walked out of the club with about $180 in my pocket, and I was the happiest kid ever.
Feeling like a baller.
Yeah.
I feel like a baller, and the vibe was insane. The club,
The music was probably great.
gay clubs have the best music. Everyone knows.
story.
Also, they have the hottest chick, but this chick only had chicks with dicks.
Haven't we all had a chick with a dick?
Well, anyways, the funny part is, I passed this interview or whatever audition. Not just passed it, but won. And then they were like, yeah, Friday, 5 p.m., show up. Manager will fill out the paperwork and you can get started. Ooh, Friday, 5 p.m. You know what kind of people are in a strip club at 5 p.m.?
Me.
It's like happy hour, right? Like, definitely an older crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, walking around in my underwear. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And my English was pretty all right. I had a language degree, and actually a business language degree, but I wasn't that fluent. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like walk around, check on the guys that has like stacks of $1 bills on their table, see what I can get for it. And then, I get into it. I'm like, okay, I guess this is how it's going to go. Like, I'm going to get gay molested and I'll be happy with the dollars in my pants. Like, no big deal.
So you didn't have any kind of weird feelings like, oh, it's guy, and you didn't have any like questions about your masculinity or any fear of the gay community?
I didn't have any fear inside of me. The rules were pretty simple. You have to wear your underwear. In the very beginning, I wasn't even aware that there's lap dances going on in the back room. It was literally, the first week I was just walking around and trying to collect $1 tips.
Literally just walking around asking for money. Like,
Yeah, like literally,
Please,
like,
sir.
hey, you want to touch my dick? Thank you.
I do the same thing, but nobody pays me. Okay, so I don't know if you want to bring this up or... there's this whole kind of discussion about gay for pay or queer baiting, like you said it at the top. It's a very hot topic for the community because it's a thought. I guess it's almost like the same kind of energy that like a gay actor should be picked to play a gay character in a Hollywood movie or whatnot. It's like, Well, shouldn't we be celebrating our own community? And why are we paying gay men to flirt with us when it's all about money? Isn't that demeaning to us as a gay culture?
Well, I want to tell you something funny. So since I've filmed with you, I've gotten messages now of people accusing me of being a queer baiter.
Sure thing, baby. You're so hot. You're too hot to be even straight or gay.
But people are literally now, they're like, so you've been lying about being gay this whole time. And I'm like, that's a long con. That's a long con I've been working on since I was like 13.
People get our community. Well, we know that there's keyboard warriors that are going to get upset about everything. But there are people that feel very threatened about you doing even that. Remember when Arad did Men.com's first bisexual scene? It's with my friend Sylvia Sage. They got so much pushback, so much hate. He got hate, and Men.com had to pull the clip because so many people were so angry that, number one, they were showing bisexual porn on Men.com, and they were so angry that a big idolized porn star like Arad was fooling around with a woman. There was so much hate. It wasn't even dislike. It wasn't like, I'm not going to watch it. It was violent kind of speech. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think it's also a little bit of what you said about the keyboard warrior. And there is, like, when it comes to, like, the queer baiting, is some right to it in that there are some people that literally do take advantage of it. Because, like, I have met some straight guys who do the queer baiting on OnlyFans that are also off camera, very homophobic, like, will say some of the nastiest shit. Like, I filmed with a guy before, I won't say his name, but after we filmed and, like, we had just done sex and oral, he like made a comment being like, just let you know, like, no homo. And I was like, you don't get to say that. Like, if you make profit off of us, you don't get to say like the F word. You don't get to say things like no homo. Those are the ones I have an issue with. Just being gay for pay, that's just working. You know what I mean? So it's like this, there's like a hard gray area, and that's where people tend to get mad because it's not defined. So for one person, it's considered like you were taking advantage. For another person, they're like, you're just doing a job.
You don't think it's demeaning to the community to kind of pander towards us and take our money with no...
I do, but my issue, and this is what I get mad about, is at the end of the day, it's the customer who gets to control it. Just like our last episode when we talked about Kardashians, they'll go away if you stop talking about. You can't get mad at queer baiting and then also be the customer who's also turned on by it. Like, I make videos with straight guys because I have customers that love it. I'm not personally into straight guys. There are a lot of customers that are. So I'll stop doing it if you guys stop jerking off to it.
Okay, well, I mean, let's just have a real conversation about this. Well, and
what are your thoughts and feelings on being called a queer baiter?
You know, my thoughts and feelings about it, even back in my stripper days, there were queer baiters in the club. Like, same thing, straight guys acting and telling customers that they are gay.
Mm-hmm.
And, that they were faking
and
it.
I was just like,
that's really bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm like, I don't think they monetize more because I could tell, like, these dudes, they just couldn't wait to find a straight dick that they can play with, you know? And, like, have their own, like, what if you can get a straight dick hard? Wow, what an accomplishment, right? Huh, maybe he's a little gay, huh? Maybe he enjoyed it. And you know what I'm saying? That people always try to use labels, put everyone in categories. I think it's all about energy. And when I say energy, sexual energy, it's either you have it or you don't. And I don't give a fuck if I have to turn up for a guy or a girl. If we have a bond and if we have some chemistry, sure thing I can find beauty in everyone. And, you know, again, like putting everyone in categories and label, I think it takes time. It does take time to fool around. Like, just looking at myself, goddamn, first time I started jacking off, I was like jerking off for lesbian porn. Damn, I haven't looked at that in 25 years. It just doesn't do nothing for me anymore. And every single year, my preferences are changing. And different things are turning me on. So I always tell my best straight buddies that, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up at the age of 40 in Palm Springs, you know, having little boys lap dancing on our lap, spending our hard-earned $20 bills on OnlyFans.
But there also is that fantasy side to it where the gays are like, oh, it's a straight guy that's jerking off doing solo vids. He can't really be that straight. And there's that whole like journey that we're just waiting for them to turn, or that we have the power to turn somebody. And I think we're very reticent to believe that anybody is 100% straight because we don't want to believe that. But yes, there are people out there that are 100% straight.
Well,
and nothing that will never change.
but-
It's like, I'll never change.
But I think the thing that, like, because we're starting to see a little bit of change in that, and that even the gay community is starting to, just like Alfie was saying about, like, it is becoming a little less in labels, because even I know many gay people who are starting to realize, like, who have always identified to being 100% gay, they're starting to feel like, okay, now that I feel safe being gay, what if I do want to explore with possibly like a woman? Like, I think the labels are becoming more blurrier and blurrier,
100%.
and that's a good thing.
Well, and I know a lot of the gay porn stars are now starting to do bisexual porn, trans porn, because it is a job. And let's face it, men, we can get aroused over pretty much anything, right? It doesn't mean that, like, that's how we identify. You know, I'll see a hot cartoon. I saw Aladdin. I was like, boop. It doesn't mean like an anime, you know, kind of person. But I think that straight masculine men are also able to talk about this evolution, and that maybe they could be, you know, a little exploratory or whatever. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to, you know, we just curious, right? And so we didn't know what we were being curious about. But at what moment did it go from stripping to be like, okay, let's kind of...
Well, yeah, who got you into porn?
Yeah.
Or OnlyFans?
Yeah. Do you consider what you do porn?
Yeah, I was about to say, do you consider that porn, what you're doing now? Or is that just like...
Again, it's another label. What's porn, right?
Penetration.
Some.
No, but why is
Penetration.
no? We learned about with Topher, a hole doesn't have to be the goal for it to be sex. So porn can be something like, I even just posted like that shower video of me just slow, not even jerking off, just slow mo in the shower, and I got so many customers be like, "This was the hottest thing I watched ever." There was no coming, there was no penetration, but to them that was porn.
Yeah.
So like you said, porn can be anything.
I mean, I really don't care who puts whatever label on these things. I feel definitely comfortable every time I step in front of the camera, whether it's a straight guy or a gay guy. And you know why? Because I know my limits. I know what I'm happy with, and I know what's not going to happen. And I think it's always very clear. However, it's super fucking sexy when you're shooting with a gay guy. I'm sorry I called you gay guy. Like, yeah, like we're using labels here.
Yeah.
So when you're shooting with a gay guy, literally the last video that we did where we were coming and I came first. Oh, what a champ. I always like stock bar raised me well. I can jerk off in 5 minutes anywhere, anytime. No matter if I just came 5 minutes ago. So anyways, I came and then I was just like chilling down, looking at the other two guys trying to come, straight guy, gay guy. And then the second guy, the straight guy, was coming, and then I see Teddy just like, oh fuck, let me swallow that cum. And I was like, wow, is he gonna suck on it or not? So it is a fantasy, you know, like it like what's gonna happen. Like I think it's even more triggering than when you know what's gonna happen.
When it's predictable, when you know it's going to.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and I think it is good. Like you've never lied about it. Like you've never said, "Oh, you know, am I gay or not?" I know there's some people like I know Zach Attack is one of them, and he's caused a lot of controversy because when he first was, he was like, "Oh." Anyway, well, that's a whole other subject. But
I want to hear it. I've just become friends with Zach. We filmed one video. It was a very easy shower video. Like we're all wearing underwear, and I think towards the end of the video, he revealed his dick. Like no big deal, but he was very like. 1 to 10, it was a 2. You know, like very chill.
So I don't know who that is. What was the controversy?
I mean, because he has a very nice ass. Like that's what put him on. But the controversy is when he first started, it was this question: is he or isn't he? And that he would just flash his cheek and then charge like $30 a month, and that he was playing with people in Instagram messages or whatnot, just like a big tease, and continuing that tease in a really kind of not nice way. And then certain videos came out where he was doing a little bit more, and it was like, was he or wasn't he? But it had this kind of negative energy. And to I think your brand, because I did my research, I watched your stuff. It's never that you kind of hide the fact that you're straight identifying for now, or that's kind of what you're doing. It's never that you're maliciously kind of teasing us along just for our money. You're providing a product, a performance, if you will. You're putting out that brand of the straight guy that'll jerk off next to another guy. You're selling that fantasy rather than just trying to get our money by doing this. Do you know what I mean? There's like a different energy and motivation behind it.
Yeah, also I do feel like as the Papa crew we evolved, it's all literally like straight guys experiment. And then we're like fucking best friends. Like some of these fuckers, I sleep in the same bed with them if we travel, or you know, like I wake up, this fucker is cuddling me, you know, and nothing is wrong about it. No one ever questions nothing because we're all very aware of who we are. So let's say we get together 4 guys, and it's like, okay, let's record something sexy, and then we all get like smoke some weed, hit the bong, get high, and first we don't even worry about making content. We're just like, let's just start vibing and like feeling up each other and like have a good mood going. And once we get the good mood, we can make some decent videos where people can look at us like, it's very questionable. What are these guys doing? And like naked man laying around bed, you know, jerking off, coming, this, that.
So what is the Papa Crew, and like what idea sparked you to put together the Papa Crew?
I don't know. I just started using this word papa. Everyone was a papa to me. That's like, you know, you're a papa for sure. Look at you, like,
Papa bear.
all buff, hairy, manly. And I just started my venture on OnlyFans, started making really good money. And I was definitely there to spread the word. I made a lot of money by referring people. And by referring people, I wasn't just like, you know, I'm going to refer you and then you do your job. I have these people. I made their content. I'm a photographer.
Yes.
And I did everything for these fuckers, and every single person who joined make really, really good money. Well, I also have, I think, a good eye for talent, and these guys are all exceptional, beautiful guys. They all have different limits, whether what they show online or what they're comfortable doing. And trust me, these fuckers have like, you wouldn't even guess what's their real limit in life, you know? And they don't talk about it. They have their limit online, and then in real life, it's like whatever the fuck.
No.
The one thing I will note, I want to say this because I wanted to bring it up. From working with many straight guys now, I have noticed that straight guys compared to gay guys, straight guys are way better at supporting each other in their industry. Like I will watch straight.
That's very interesting.
I've noticed, especially even if you like the straight guys always help each other make content, help making sure their friends are doing well, pushing them to do better in their career, and vice versa. While in the gay world,
it's a bro family.
But shockingly, though, in the gay world, it is so cutthroat. They won't share secrets because they're like, I don't want your site to do better than my site. It's so crazy.
And every aspect, and this is my biggest complaint of the LGBTQ entertainment community, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're an MC, whether you're a drag queen, whether you're a porn star, whether you're, you know, an actor, there's this just non-support that's happening. And we're supposed to be this inclusive, supportive community. It's just not happening. And jealousies are stupid because nobody can do what you do. You can't do what anybody else does. I don't care what. You could be with the same kind of high voice or whatever, and it's not the same thing. And there's this weird threat, whereas, like your Papa Crew, if we're all successful, then guess what? We're all successful. And now you have, like, the Justice League of guys that people want to jerk off to.
The jerk-off league.
Rather than 4 bitchy queens that are doing their own content, trying to backstab, spending their time backstabbing the other.
But what you just said is perfectly, like, and that's what I wish other gay people knew, because, like, I've been looking for my gay version of the Papa Crew of, guys, if we all lift each other up, we just all keep doing better. Like, it's not a competition if you actually work together. And for some reason, the gay community does not get that aspect.
No, do you think it's because you're not in the studio world? I think this is propagated by the studios, by having exclusives, by putting certain actors out for best performer and all of that. I think it kind of builds that energy.
I mean, it does, because, like, they have their own little knit type group, but I still don't see them turning that knit type group into their own, like, company, their own this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because they probably don't want to, because they know that the studio labels would be like, all right, you guys are getting a little bit too, and they'll squash that.
Yeah.
I don't see it as much in the OnlyFans world. Like, it's starting to happen a little bit more. Like, there's more and more groups doing it, but, like, I want to have a group that does it the level that, like, Alfie does, which that's like a company at this point. Papa Crew is.
Sort of.
Yeah, it's its own empire. Now, what kind of conversation, where are you finding these guys, and what kind of conversation do you have with them? It's like, hey, come film with me. You might jerk off. I mean, like, what's the conversation like?
Not really. Most likely I find them at the gym.
Girl.
And while I should be hitting on girls, I have absolutely no business doing that. I'm really just like, kind of my eyes are always open. When I see someone, like, you know, it could be, I remember this one dude I met with him. He was a cashier in the Rofs, you know? Like, it's not like, I was like, dude, this is not your place to be. You can do a little better than this for sure. And goddamn, you know, usually when people see success or money, right away they're like very attached to it, right? Like, oh, I want to do this too. And then technically when I lay down like what you have to do for this, it's a job.
Yeah.
You can spend 1 hour with it a day. You can spend 2. You can spend a 9 to 5, or you can just do morning till night every day. It really depends how much you want to blow up, how much money you want to make, and how much do you believe in yourself, and how much can you get down to work, and how much can you keep yourself happy. Because here's the thing, doing content for years, there's a point where you burn out.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about really the OnlyFans stuff. Like, sexually, I never burn out. I'm always ready to, like, my dick is hard every day.
You're
trust me.
European. It's like being Latino. Like, that's why we have so many kids.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. But to have a successful OnlyFans, you need a successful social media that will push traffic there.
It's a business.
And smiling every day on social media is not easy. Like, what was it, 2 years ago when we started doing TikToks? Goddamn.
And we both hate TikTok.
It's awful.
But you don't have a choice. You have to do it.
It's part of the brand.
I don't like making TikToks, but when I wake up, I can't wait to see the views. I'm like, did I cash in last night or not? And it's really addictive, and the numbers are addictive. And every month, you want to make the best month. You want to make more money. And there's going to be setbacks. Accounts taken down, Instagram, TikTok. Even my Twitter got banned twice. I don't even know how. Then my Twitter is very PG.
So I was going to ask, have you ever gotten banned on TikTok and kicked off?
Oh yeah. Both of my big accounts been taken down twice, and right now I have those back, but I'm missing 5 other big accounts. I have like 15 active accounts. I'm missing 5.
Now, I know this happens even in the porn world, some actors will say, I'll only do a solo video, and I'm not really doing porn. You know, they consider it like it's an art. Is that the same like with your Papa Crew? It's like, we will only do this kind of stuff, and it's not really porn because we're not engaging in penetration or the blowjobs or anything like that. Is there that kind of energy that what you're doing is more art?
I think I'm one of those very few people that really don't give a shit about my image. I just don't. I'm real as it gets, and I don't give a fuck if Teddy puts his big dick between my legs and literally humps me to the wall. I'm like, I guess this is how it feels when you get fucked.
No.
Without the
It's a little different.
without the actual pain or the good feelings. I don't know. But I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it is what it is. If anyone is asking me, I'm like, yeah, I felt comfortable doing it.
So there was no fear on your part of like, hey, maybe I want a mainstream modeling career. Maybe I want to become an actor on the CW. There was never that kind of...
Are you shitting my dick? Honestly, that's the one thing I don't like about Los Angeles and recruiting people here. That's why I much prefer flying over to Miami, where, you know, every single person is like, oh yeah, what are we doing? Dicks out, let's go. Here in Los Angeles, a lot of people have these double standards where they
100%.
believe in their fucking career that they're not pushing whatsoever. Everyone needs money. And, you know, I'm like, if you're a real talent, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. You're going to end up where you're supposed to be.
Oh, that's a very good point. There's some LGBTQ actors and musicians that have said OnlyFans is for trash. It's like, oh, they're doing an OnlyFans now. And now, after COVID, after not getting booked or anything, now they've started OnlyFans, but they've done it artistically. And it's so hypocritical, and it's so damaging to our community and the sex worker industry as well. It's building the stigma where it doesn't exist because we're all watching porn. And, you know, OnlyFans is not some awful thing that you resort to. It's a way to build your business. It's not like a last resort. Not everybody can do OnlyFans at all.
So what would you do if you pretend like you never were going to ever do OnlyFans? If you had a completely random different career, what would you have done?
I think I would be a barber. Just stick with the guys. That's what I do anyways. Like, I cut most of these guys' hair, beard. I clearly find, like, joy. Like, it's very meditative for me to do that. Would I make a living? Probably not. I don't know.
No, I could see you having like this brand of, you know, there's like Daddy's Barbershop or something like that, where it's like, you know, the cool guy place to go to.
Papa's Crew would be a cute barbershop name, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
You better trademark that real fast.
That also sounds like a barbershop quartet.
But you know what? It could be like a hot barbershop where the guys are like shirtless, almost like a Hooters, but with hair cutting.
But you don't want to be shirtless while getting your hair cut, because then you get all the hair on you.
Yeah, but if I'm getting my hair cut and there's like a nipple that is like...
I don't know about that. I also don't want scissors around nipples.
I think you should do it. No, I have to say, how has this affected your personal love and dating life?
Fucked up. Completely fucked up.
Well, see, and I want to hear about that because I can imagine.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, actually, when I think the time I started OnlyFans, I was single. God damn, it's the best thing in life, you know? I mean, I had girls in and out every day.
Yeah.
I always have a big camera in my hand, and I was using it for them, but I was like, you know what? This time we're gonna like do both ways. So I had these chicks taking pictures of me, and they were super hot. Like, when you're actually having sex with someone and you grab a big camera and take pictures, it looks awesome.
Wait, but that is not romantic. That's not how you build a relationship. Is let's bring a camera out while we're trying to have intimate sex.
No. So here's the thing. Like, fast forward, I met with my ex-wife, and she asked me about it. So what is this link on your Instagram? And I was like, well, you know, it kind of pays for my rent. So I'm naked online, and people pay for a monthly subscription fee for it. She was like, but do you have to do this? Like, you got so much potential. Like, you're an amazing photographer. You're doing so well. I'm like, honestly, do you like that we don't pay rent? She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So that was the conversation. And she never really bothered with it. But she was one of those people that, like, she was also a little older than me. She's 43 right now. And her mindset is a little different than mine.
It's a different generation of sexuality.
A different generation. She's a very, very, very classy woman. And I was even like shocked that she even talks to me. You know, like it was like the biggest core of my life. And for her, even jerking off was like, that's porn. That's. I hope you're not doing that. I'm like, wait. I'm like, I worked at Stock Bar for fuck knows 7 years, 6-7 years, where they were broadcasting online every single night that I'm jerking and making my dick hard behind the scenes, and then come out on the stage with my rocking big boner and fuck around for 3-4 minutes. And I was like, honestly, it's a little too late. Like, there's no way going back, right?
Mm-hmm. And to your point, guess who's paying dinner for dinner tonight, you know?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I was just like Teddy. I was like, OnlyFans, like, it's cool. Like, actually, I love being naked, so I'm like, it's a cool platform to like share myself with the world. But I wasn't really taking it seriously. I was just focusing on my photography career all the way till the pandemic hit. And I remember J-Hop, my Viking papa, was a client of mine, and I looked at his page. I'm like, bro, you're pulling 30 G's with like fucking underwear pictures? I'm like, you serious right now? I'm like, okay, I'm like, I better start focusing on this shit. And the goal was for me, like, I'm going to hit 30K. And right into the pandemic, it happened pretty fast. And I was like, okay, I guess this is it.
So, like, let's say you were to go on a date now. Do you bring it up on the first, second, third date? Do you also have to disclose that, hey, sometimes I'm jerking off with guys?
I think people, by the time they meet with me, they already know everything about me. Like, my life is an open book. It really is.
Now, do you regret that at all? Do you ever think, God, I wish I could just focus on a relationship that doesn't have all this kind of baggage? I mean, now because you're young and the money's coming in, but as you get older, do you think, like, God, you know, I don't have somebody, I don't have a family, I don't have the picket fence, and
I have 2 doggies.
Which is better than a family.
Trust, I know that. But
nah, not really. I'm a very open-minded guy, and I had difficulties in my life. I've had open relationships. I had, you know, like closed mindset, old school fashioned relationships. And at the end of the day, you're a man. You want to get laid. And your eyes are wandering day and night. Your fantasy goes everywhere. Like, I'm one of those sick motherfuckers that every time I have sex with someone, that's a physical thing, but my brain is somewhere else. It's either me fucking someone else or someone else is fucking this person. But it's
interesting.
It's never like a straight shot. Like, barely ever.
When was the last time that you had sex that it was just about you and that other person? You weren't thinking about filming, you weren't thinking about anything else, but you were in that moment.
Had to be something fucking random. Like, I remember once in Miami, I was on an escalator, and this chick was coming the other way and just said something to me. And I went after her. I brought her in the restroom, and I fucked her right there.
This happens in the straight world?
At first, I thought you were going to say as she came down the escalator and you were going up, you somehow entered her while she was going and then exited.
No. Can't pop an instant boner like that. But you know, like when a girl is giving you a sign, I'm like, I'm right on it.
I didn't know that happened in the street.
Yeah, me neither. I know it happens. Like a gay guy's like, you could be at a club and like people will just go in the bathroom and fucking come back and like still dance and all that. But I had no idea there was this kind of.
But you know, also being a photographer, it happened with me multiple times that we're having a really good chemistry, and if she makes the move, I'm right there, and then my mind is already there, so that's why it's happening that I'm focusing on that subject.
I love hooking up with photographers.
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
But it's becoming a problem with the industry. I have many photographers that do a lot of great high-end pictures with guys or whatever, but now with the Me Too movement and all that, it's becoming very dicey because you never know how a model's going to come back. You never know it's going to bite you in the ass because of sexual harassment. It's a real thing. Some people have fun doing it, but some people can use it on both sides. A model can say, hey, they didn't put my pictures on the cover of this and that. I'm going to go after them this way. It's very dangerous.
You gotta be careful.
Just to add to this subject, I never really had a problem with that. I think people always trust me. I'm a trustworthy person. Never fucked over no one.
But it's not always about you. It's about the other person that wants to get something from you or trap you.
One time I had like a setback that made me think. I remember I put this young girl. She was probably like 21. Super hot chick, already full of naked pictures. And usually I used to find these talents from the internet. And I just told them like, hey, I think those pictures belong to another site and you should charge for that. So this girl from San Diego came for a shoot. I signed her up for OnlyFans. She immediately made like 5,000 her first month, 10,000 her second month. And this was like a while ago. Like OF was not that big back then. She was super happy, right? Regularly came for shoots, and I was just making my 5%, my referral money on it. I was like, I'm happy. I'm doing, shooting a hot chick, getting my 5%, making 95 for you, no problem. And you wouldn't believe it, out of the blue sky, my OnlyFans, my female OnlyFans got suspended, my IG disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then I had a suspicious feeling. Because this girl changed her name, blogged me everywhere. I'm like, I reached out to her.
Oh, she quit and she wanted to erase the history.
Yes, exactly. This is what happens. Young girls meet with a boy that doesn't like that. Oh, she's like, and she was not doing nothing besides being naked. And she already had like so much
and
pictures.
It's already
of
out
her.
there. Whatever you put on the internet, even for a day, it's out there.
And I just asked her, I'm like, did you report my OnlyFans and my TikTok or whatever Instagram? And she was like, yes, I did. And I'm like, why you didn't ask me? Like,
you would have easily. I know you would have taken it down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and here's the thing. Once you already put out something, does it matter? It's already out there.
Yeah, but
taking it down, I take it down in a second.
You're like, it doesn't matter because it's already somebody screenshot it, somebody leaked it.
She made money off of it. You made money off of it. Like it's a done deal, and it comes from a weird place of shame. And we all send naked pictures of ourselves to everybody. That's so it's so hypocritical. And plus, your pictures are art. I mean, I've seen your work. It's beautiful.
Here's the thing about art, and like, it's a shame right now that I do feel like I'm not an artist anymore. I'm just a content creator. One, I'm not shooting girls. That's like my fantasy. This is what I'm really into. Two, even when I'm shooting guys, most of my papas don't give a two shit that we're booking a hot location and we're using big cameras and lights and everything.
Lighting, it's not on their mind.
They're just like, no, we just need content. Anything, we're here. Let me take off my shirt, take an iPhone picture. We're like, it becomes so fast that people don't have time for quality. But I'm using nice cameras. Like, I've worked with Teddy, like I try to deliver super fast everything.
And the audience responds to that. I'm telling you, if we're watching content and it's some shitty, grainy content or curated, artistic, the audience notices that, and that's what we're going to respond to first. Because it is an art form. You can't, people think that they can just get into OnlyFans and prop up their phone there and do whatever. It's like, no, that's the least of what you can do. It's,
I mean, I think you should still keep calling yourself an artist, though, because you do have an artistic vision.
100%.
And, like, even though you keep saying, like, oh, I'm a content creator, you're putting creativity and art into your content. So you should refer to yourself as an artist first. That's just my opinion.
I love you, Teddy.
Now, I want to know about like hanging out with your friends. Are you able to establish like real friendships away from the Papa crew? Like, who do you hang out with? Who do you tell your problems to? Who do you hang out with and get that kind of support from that you're not filming content with, or you're not in that environment, or does that even exist?
I would say my dad. He really not just listens to me, but like really giving me pointers in life. That how was he feeling at this age? I do look like my dad a lot, like hairy.
What's his phone number?
That is really hard, but he's in Europe and he doesn't speak English, unfortunately.
It gets better and better.
Does he know what you do for work?
Yeah, of course. He's super open-minded.
What do you have to say?
He's got not much to say. He wasn't really there for me when I was growing up financially. He was there as a dad always, but he wasn't there financially. And he didn't accept help from me for a long time. And a year and a half ago, he got the COVID, and he had high fever for 2 weeks, and he was like, he literally thought he's gonna die. And he never went back to work. And he was barely making any money, had the same job all his life, like the typical Eastern European life. And ever since, he accepts my help. So I just wire him money every month, and he's the happiest camper that he doesn't have to go to work. He knows exactly what I'm doing. He thinks it's fucking amazing. And my mom is very different. My mom, I would say I give her way more. Like, even back in my stripping career, I bought her a house when I was 23, cash paid, huge house, worth a whole bunch right now. Like, if anything. And she's just like one of those people that never happy. No matter what I was doing, no matter who I was dating, it does not matter. She's just a negative person. And it doesn't matter how much money I'm sending her. She actually has an unlimited credit card to my name. She just doesn't care.
It's still just not
like
enough.
For her, here comes the Eastern European mentality. For her, not having a 9 to 5, I'm already a weirdo. And I was always a weirdo. I never had a fucking job. I'm serious. When I was at university, my mom always told me, hey, these are your best years. And my mom was making very decent money in Hungary. And she raised me on her own. And she was like, no, you're not working. You're not taking summer jobs. You're not taking part-time jobs. You focus on partying and studying. These are your best years. Have fun. And I left after my first year in university in the summer, started stripping, and I started supporting myself. And actually, I was a model at the age of 14. I was sort of like taking care of myself from a young age. Definitely didn't want to put pressure on my mom. Yeah. She had enough like raising herself, me. And modeling is like so limited how much you can make. It's almost a joke, even in America. Well, anyways, back to the topic. Dad is happy. Mom will never be happy because I'm not a normal 9 to 5 person who's working in an office for a big company.
Yeah. That kind of energy also exists in the Latin culture, where like we have older women in the family that are just never happy no matter what they're given, and it's like you have to fit a very certain idea or rules, but it often comes from love. It's like they're just so concerned and scared for you, that you're not doing the safe way. They don't understand art. They don't understand anything. It's a very interesting energy. I think that's cultural.
And sometimes it's the people that surrounds you. Like in Europe, even if you have a tattoo, like that borderline, it's kind of nice because your hair is covering it. But having tattoos is like, my mom asked me 2 things: no motorbikes, no tattoos. I was 14 when I smashed myself with a motorbike, and I was like, you know what? Maybe she's right. And she was here for Christmas, and all my friends are hat-to-toe tattooed guys. Like, literally everyone. She was freaking out. You should have seen her face when she was looking.
Oh, does she think of them as like they're dangerous, like they're a criminal? Or
yeah.
They're violent.
They're violent. Yeah.
Yeah, like probably from jail.
Like, no. I don't think every single person I know that has tattoos is like the sweetest person alive.
Plus, it's also a fantasy. We love our straight guys with tattoos because you're like a bad guy, but most bad guys are nice. I love that we've had this conversation because queerbaiting is such a hot topic, and I feel my way. There's certain OnlyFans that I will follow, and then there comes a certain point where it's like they're just pandering, and it makes me angry, even though I've subscribed to them and I'll
enjoy it.
Yeah, but it's nice having this open conversation and knowing the other side of that and your feelings towards the community and your feelings towards sexuality. Now, I have kind of a hot topic question. We are in a very difficult position and have been for the last administration with the LGBTQ community. We've been through a lot. We've been persecuted. Now laws are changing to take rights away from our community. You, as an influencer that does get income from the gay community, do you feel obligated to stick up for gay rights? Do you feel obligated to get involved or to speak out against homophobia and things like that? Do you think that's your obligation?
100% sure. 90% of my friends in real life are gay. I feel like I've been raised by the gay community because I came to this country not knowing nothing. Yeah. And literally all my friends were from the club and nobody was straight, guess what? And I've learned great taste from gay people, heard nothing but smart moves, smart things in life. Majority of them, double income, no kids, super successful people. So I do stand up for them anytime.
Oh, okay.
I just because I like to cause shit. I know people have come from another country and they've been very welcomed and supported by the gay community. I'm wondering if you didn't look a certain way, if that would have been that kind of same support or that kind of same energy, or that if you would have had success if you didn't look the way that you looked.
Probably not.
Yeah. So even though we are very supportive, we are very selective who we are supportive.
That's very true.
But that's also that's the human race.
True. I mean, it's what I respond to. I mean, I'm just saying that's.
But I feel like this is my card. This is what I have to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this conversation. Alfie, do you want to tell everybody where they can find and follow you?
I don't want you guys to follow me. Follow Teddy. You'll find me.
It's right up there. Alfie Cinematic.
Yes.
Oh, thank you guys.
And I love your Twitter because you're such a tease, but like a fun tease. It's like, oh, I almost see it. Okay. But your content is fire. I love it. It's sexy. I don't think it panders. It fulfills what it promises. Mm-hmm. And you certainly get everything that you want from it.
All right. And you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Teddy Bear Gurrrl.
And you can find me on Instagram, Alexander, at AlexanderIsOnAir. And that's another episode. Send us an email. We will answer your question. We love your comments. Send us an email at bearwithusgurrl@gmail.com. That's 3 R's. And show us some love. We are growing the podcast. Rate, subscribe. And everything is at bearwithusgurrl.com. Any other final comments to our audience?
Anything you want to end on?
This was so amazing, guys. Seriously, it's so much fun. Thank you so much.
You should start doing your podcast here.
Yeah.
I should, right?
The Papa Crew podcast? Are you kidding me?
Papa Crew podcast.
Would you join me for that?
I'll produce it, girl. I'll be on set. I'll be on set early.
He actually will. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I'll be like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Alfie, I have to thank you for wearing white sweatpants.
And no underwear.
Yeah.
Always.
I saw that instantly.
It's like, ow, it poked me in the eye. Until next time, we will see you on Bear With Us, Girl.
Bye.
Ciao, guys.
That has been another episode of Bear With Us, Girl, presented by Bear World Magazine and Cybersocket.com.
Please take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, rate, all the love and support you can give, guys.
Questions, comments, and suggestions? Email us at bearwithusgirl, 3 R's, @gmail.com.
Until next time, embrace the fur.
Gurrrl.